Welcome, orchid growers. Hi, I'm Sophie. Welcome to Sophie Grows. Here's my orchid that I just got that I'm going to be repotting. What I did is I didn't soak this in water. I poured little bits of water in at a time and let the sphagnum moss absorb it and let the roots drink it all up. I'm going to push from the bottom like that. Okay, here we are. So let me get some pruners and I'll be right back. Okay, I got my pruners, so let's sterilize them. Okay, so let's pour some alcohol on a paper towel and open my cutters up. So once I'm done with that, I can put my cutters away because I'm not actually going to use them at the moment. And for the orchid, because the sphagnum moss is compacted, I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to take out the sphagnum moss. I'm going to gently pull out the sphagnum moss from the root ball with my tweezers. I'm going to rinse the root system and come back when I'm done. Now let's see if there is any dead roots. I don't see any dead root here, but let's do one more once over and then let's go to the other side if there are any more dead roots. So here I have two pots. There are two different sizes, one smaller than the other, so let's see which one I should use. So when I put my orchid in the smaller pot, it fits, but it's kind of stuffed in there. So now let's look at the bigger one. So here in the bigger one, my orchid fits pretty well in here, and in the smaller one, it doesn't fit that well. So I'm going to use the bigger pot, which is 5 inches. So now that we have our pot, let's get our medium of choice. So first, I like starting with a layer of sphagnum moss, and this seems pretty good. Maybe even a little more. So once that's done, you can put your orchid straight in. So now let's grab some bark and pour it right in. What I like doing is to find a clump of sphagnum moss, or long strand of it, preferably. Let's use this, and I like to do it from the bottom all the way up to the top of the pot. So the water travels up through the sphagnum moss. And then we can keep pouring our bark into the pot. So now let's grab some sphagnum moss and stuff it in and make another layer. As you can see, the sphagnum moss will let the water travel. I don't like putting sphagnum moss on the top because it will accumulate algae and I don't want that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this malformed flower spike because it's kind of in the way. So there on one side is a root, and there it is, and then on the right side is the flower spike. So I'm going to take my sterilized pair of pruners and I'm going to cut the flower spike right at the base. So once I'm done cutting that, I'm going to just throw the flower spike away. Here's some cinnamon that I'm going to put on the cut of the flower spike because cinnamon helps preventing a reinfection on the spot you cut. So I'm going to take a little on the paper towel, put a little bit more on the paper towel because that wasn't enough before. I'm going to put on my finger and I'm going to put it on the wound that I just made. And when you put it on the wound and then dip back in, it will be easier to apply. And then once I'm done with that, you can just throw away the excess cinnamon and you're all set. And now that I'm done doing that, I can just finish potting everything up. What I'm going to do right now, because the flower spike is kind of in the way, is I'm going to stake it. So once I arrange this a little, I'm going to get a flower stake and arrange it. So now that I have my flower stake, I'm going to insert it gently into the medium in pot. And then once I get a clip, a flower clip, I am going to gently bring up the flower spike to the level of the stake, and then I will gently clip in the clip, and I will show you one sec when I'm done. So here's the finished product once I stake it. So now that I'm done, I am going to get a container and put the plant in it, the pot, and then once I do that, I'm going to pour some water up to the top of the rim of the pot and then soak it. So right now I'm just going to put it on a saucer and then we'll finish things up here. So now that I'm done potting it up, I'm just going to care for it regularly and just put it in the spot that it was in before. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and comment down below. See you next time, guys.